Hi all, welcome to Tricks. So today we are covering chapter 2, Rights in the Indian Constitution of the textbook Indian Constitution at Work, class 11, NCERT. In this chapter, we will cover various fundamental rights that are listed in our constitution, how they are protected, role of the judiciary, and the difference between fundamental rights and directive principles of state policy. So first of all, why rights are important? In our textbook, in this chapter, two examples are mentioned. First, of the Asian Games workers. These workers were given very low wages and were kept in a very poor condition. Some journalists and social workers reported that, and after the intervention of judiciary, Supreme Court, these workers got their due right. So these workers were denied not only right to proper wages, minimum wages, but also right to a life with dignity. Second case is of a person who was convicted of a crime but he was insane. So he was committed to a hospital, and even after when he got better and the doctors reported about it, then also he could not come out of the judicial custody and he spent almost 50 years of his life there and came out only when he was 77 years old after the intervention of judiciary. So these two examples show that first, rights are important, and second, even if there are rights and when they are not enforced, then it is of no use. So we have Bill of Rights. What is this Bill of Rights? It is a list of rights mentioned and protected by the Constitution. So a document which mentions the rights enjoyed by the citizens. It prohibits the government from acting against the rights of the individuals and ensures a remedy in case there is violation of these rights. The rights which are mentioned in the document cannot be violated easily, and it puts a limit on the government from acting against the rights of the individuals. The rights which are mentioned in this bill are to be protected, and government is bound to protect the rights of the individual. So Bill of Rights, it is a document which contains list of rights protected by the Constitution. If we go back in the history, it was in 1789 that in USA first the proposal to make amendments and a document was introduced called Bill of Rights, which mentioned the rights of the citizens in USA. And this Bill of Rights, which was passed finally in 1791, contained the 10 amendments to the American Constitution. This document became the Bill of Rights. In textbook, you can also find Bill of Rights in the South African Constitution. Do read them and compare to the rights mentioned in our Constitution that we are going to study. In our Constitution, we have fundamental rights. Why these rights are called fundamental? Because they are so important that they are separately listed in the Constitution and they are protected as well as enforced by the Constitution. They cannot be taken away by the government. So government cannot violate them or cannot act against them. That is why they are fundamental rights, fundamental to the lives of the citizens. Now, what is the difference between fundamental rights and the ordinary legal rights? Ordinary legal rights are protected by ordinary laws, but the fundamental rights are protected and enforced by the Constitution. There are provisions in the Constitution and in the rights itself that protect these fundamental rights, while the ordinary laws do not have such protection because they can be changed easily. However, the fundamental rights can be changed only by amending the Constitution. The judiciary can declare any executive or legislative action as illegal if those actions act against fundamental rights or violate them in any way. So, judiciary has the responsibility to protect these fundamental rights. In the Indian Constitution, under Part 3rd, we have fundamental rights. In the textbook, articles are not mentioned, but here I am mentioning it because anyhow you will have to remember them. So it will be better if you keep in mind the articles also. Even for students, do remember this article number. So Article 12 to 35 covers the fundamental rights in the Part 3rd of the Constitution. Article 12 defines the state, such as executive, legislature, local bodies. These are defined as state bodies. And Article 13 says any law that is inconsistent with the provisions in Part 3rd will be void. Means if they are inconsistent, then those laws will be void, will be illegal. So Article 13 makes these rights fundamental because they are protected, they cannot be changed. Any law that act against these fundamental rights are to be considered void or illegal. In the Constitution, we have 6 fundamental rights. Earlier, we had 7. The right to property was later on removed. So these 6 fundamental rights are right to equality, covered under Article 14 to 18, right to freedom, Article 19 to 22. These rights are actually categories. Under them, we have fundamental rights mentioned under different articles. Right against exploitation, Article 23 to 24. Right to freedom of religion, Article 25 to 28. Cultural and educational rights, Articles 29 to 30. And right to constitutional remedies, Article 32 to 35. Since these articles are very important, these rights are very important, we will read them in detail, and that is why in this video I will cover 2 of them, right to equality and right to freedom, because they are lengthy and we need to understand them. In the next video I will cover rest of them. So first we have right to equality. In the textbook, some examples are given how discrimination is done, how there was difference of status, people were treated differently, there was no equality. So that is why in our Constitution, the first right which is granted is right to equality. Under this, we have equality before law and equal protection of law under Article 14. It means 3 things. First, everyone is equal in front of law, means rule of law is important. No one is above the law and no special treatments are given. People are given equal protection by the law. In the textbook, not much details are given regarding equality before law, but these 3 things are important. That rule of law is important, no one is above the law, and no one enjoys special privileges. Under similar circumstances, people are given similar treatment by the law. Under Article 15, then we have prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex or place of birth. It means no one can be discriminated on the grounds of these factors: religion, race, caste, sex or place of birth. In our society, there used to be discrimination. For example, Dalits were not allowed to access the common areas, the common well, not allowed to go to the temples. So this right prohibits any kind of discrimination which is based on either religion, race, caste, sex or place of birth. It gives equal access to shops, hotels, wells, tanks, bathing ghats, roads, etc. Means no one can be stopped to visit these places on the basis of these factors. So Article 15 prohibits any kind of discrimination. To establish equality in the society, first thing important to do is to eliminate discrimination. First, the law treats them equally, and then the attempt is made that the society treats them equally. Then we have equality of opportunity in public employment under Article 16. Means for any government job, anyone can apply if they fulfill the eligibility criteria. Means no discrimination in public employment also. So the government cannot discriminate and is obligated to provide equal opportunities in public employment. Next we have abolition of untouchability. We know that in our society untouchability was practiced, but under Article 17 untouchability has been made a punishable offence. So abolition of untouchability under Article 17 is a step forward to establish equality in the society and to eliminate the discriminations that were practiced in the past. Finally, under right to equality, we have abolition of titles under Article 18. Any kind of title which were awarded earlier have been abolished. Only the military and academic titles are allowed. So, right to equality tries to establish equality before law, equality in the society, equality in opportunity, and removes the discrimination that were practiced in the society and in the social status. Second criteria of rights are right to freedom. Without freedom, equality means nothing. So, freedom and equality go hand in hand. But freedom doesn't mean that you have the liberty to do anything you want. Freedom here means you have the liberty to choose to do the things that you want, but at the same time they do not hurt or harm others. So under right to freedom, first we have protection of right to. This protection of right has then 6 subparts. First one is freedom of speech and expression, means you have the freedom to express your views, your thoughts, to write what you want freely, but this right is not an absolute right. It doesn't mean that you can say anything, write anything. For example, recently a comedian has been arrested in Uttar Pradesh because a case was filed against him that his views or his words hurt the religious sentiments of Hindus. So you cannot go ahead and say anything that can harm others' reputation or that can harm others or that can instigate violence. So this freedom of speech and expression comes with certain restrictions. It is not an absolute right. Then you have the freedom to assemble peacefully. Like the farmers are assembling peacefully, that is why Supreme Court said that they will not stop them, they cannot tell them to go because they are assembling peacefully. Then there is right to form associations and unions. People can form unions, associations, and that is why we have so many unions in different factories, industries, etc. Then you have the right to move freely throughout the territory of India. This is a fundamental right. That is why a person in Bihar can move to Mumbai, work there, settle there, reside and settle in part of India, and can practice any profession. However, this right, practice any profession, is with restriction because you cannot go ahead and practice medicine without having the degree of a doctor. So these rights come with certain restrictions. Then you have right to trade or business. I have already made a video to remember these rights. There is a trick to remember these subparts. You can watch that video. I will put the link in the description. These rights are under Article 19. Next we have under Article 20, protection in respect of conviction for offences. Under this, we enjoy 3 kinds of protection. First is ex post facto law. means if you have committed some crime today and for that crime there is no law, but law is made tomorrow, you cannot be punished according to that law because it was made after the crime you committed. So this is called ex post facto law. We enjoy protection in this regard. Second kind of protection is no double jeopardy, means you cannot be punished for the same crime twice. And third is no self-incrimination, means you cannot be compelled to give evidence against yourself. If you have committed some crime, you cannot be compelled to confess or to give evidence against yourself. So, self-incrimination. So, these are three kinds of protection that we enjoy under protection in respect of conviction for offences. You will read these articles and these rights in detail in higher classes, but I am trying to explain in simple terms so that you can understand these rights more clearly. Then under Article 21, we have right to life and personal liberty. This is a very broad area because under right to life and personal liberty, many things are included. From time to time, Supreme Court has given decisions which has made right to life and personal liberty cover a broad area such as right to marry, right to shelter, right to health, right to live with dignity, right to move. So these all come under right to life and personal liberty. Right to education was included after 86th Amendment under Article 21A. This gives the right to have free education for the children of 6 to 14 years of age in a manner determined by the state. And then we have protection against arrest and detention in certain cases under Article 22. This covers two things: punitive detention and preventive detention. In the textbook, you will read about preventive detention. Punitive detention means you have committed some crime, that is why you are being detained or being kept under custody. Preventive detention means you are being detained to prevent you from committing any crime or to do anything that will harm others or will create tension in the state. However, there are certain protection that we enjoy under this preventive detention. For example, the police is required to state the grounds of arrest, on which ground you are being arrested, and after arrest within 24 hours you are to be produced before a magistrate, and this magistrate, which is different from the police, decides whether you should be kept under detention or is to be released. So these are the protection we enjoy under right to protection against arrest and detention in certain cases. In the textbook, under the heading rights of accused, these three aspects have been detailed under rights of accused. First, that no person would be punished for the same offences more than once. Double jeopardy. No law shall declare any action as illegal from a back date, means ex post facto law, and no person shall be asked to give evidence against himself or herself, means self-incrimination. These are the rights of the accused to ensure a fair trial in courts. Now, there are certain restrictions also on these fundamental rights, such as under Article 16, Clause 4, it says that nothing can stop the state to make laws for the reservation of appointments or posts in favor of any backward class of citizens which in the opinion of state is not adequately represented. Means the state can make provisions for reservation in appointments. So here right to equality and equality of opportunity under Article 16 has certain restrictions, and to give true meaning to equal opportunities, the backward sections, those who have been oppressed for ages, need to be uplifted. That is why this article does not go against right to equality, but tries to ensure the true meaning of equal opportunities. So this was all about right to equality and right to freedom. In the next part, we will cover remaining articles and remaining fundamental rights. This chapter is very important. In any exam, you can expect 2 or 3 questions from this chapter. So keep revising, and if you like this video, do give a thumbs up. Post your comment. What do you want in the videos? What do you like? What you did not like? And will reply to each of you. I always reply. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.